But yeah, good to see everyone. I guess we'll get started. Welcome to a very long overdue AMA. I have been kind of out of the loop here for a little bit. I haven't been that active working specifically on SuperDoge, but instead on my larger project, which due to kind of market conditions required a recalibration of, well, essentially everything from our tokenomics to our raise structure and strategy. So we've been quite busy with that. In the meantime, Keith and Dan have been putting in the bulk of the work, putting together the assets for the upcoming episode, and they've done such a terrific job. It's really amazing the amount of hard work and dedication that they've put in, and what they've built. Really, I think some of you have seen perhaps a preview of some of this stuff in the admin channels, but I was speaking with Keith the other day, and he had shown me how many messages just him and Dan had exchanged in the last month, and I think it was 1,600 images or something like this, which is incredible. Now, our comedians are preparing to actually do their first recording. So we are working on getting essentially a pilot out. Perhaps not something that we will distribute officially, but we do want to get the first copy created in order to calibrate things in so that we can create like a polished look. And our objective is to kind of create a South Park style trailer. So if you picture when South Park was first introduced, they're like, they created this trailer where there was like a shocking piece of content in it. I think it was like a cartoon. I think they swore in the trailer or something like that, and it was the most like shocking thing. So we're going to try to follow that kind of format for our coming soon promotional trailer, and then we'll hopefully quickly follow up with our first pilot episode where we can get some community feedback and then dial things in. So a lot of stuff is taking place in the background as always. We haven't been marketing whatsoever. There's essentially no point to market, both with the current market conditions as well as we don't have anything to deliver. SuperDoge is going to require a radical move to be able to bring us back into relevance. We do have some very interesting things planned that I wish I could go into detail about, but they are tied with our larger project, and from a strategic standpoint, we can't associate the two projects yet. But we do have a plan which may include actually potentially, all the way up to doing a swap and redoing our tokenomics. So we're also looking at ways to incorporate a metaverse gaming aspect, as well as utilizing the SuperDoge NFTs as access points to be able to access some of the future parts of the project that we're working on. So Keith, maybe did I see Keith jump on? Maybe Keith, I just wanted to. I think you missed the part where I was thanking you and Dan for all your hard work. But I wonder if you might be able to shed some light on where we're at with the initial recording process.
Hey guys, yeah, morning everybody. Basically, it's been a long journey to get the sets, the environments, the avatars down to where, or done to the 100% quality that we wanted it to. We've got there with the backgrounds, we've got there with the avatars. Right now, what we're doing is we're getting into recording. So once the scripts are recorded, we have, I think, about 15 that the writers and voice actors are recording starting this weekend. And once we do that, we just got to basically go into the editing round and put it all together. And I don't think it's going to be that long from here on out to get there. Once this first season or these first episodes are completed, we're going to have a template system that every week or two we'll be able to jump on and throw new episodes after the content that we already have written to back us up for the next however many episodes. Going forward, we'll be able to continue this on, and it won't be a long process because everything's built. It'll just be a matter of the voiceover actors jumping on, re-recording it, throw it together with the editing, and we'll be able to get it out there. So when it comes to like trending things in the world with crypto or even just kind of world news and stuff like that, we're able to jump on that instead of looking at it a month down the road or 2 months when it's done. Tentatively, we'd like to actually, for Daily Doge or a couple of the segments, we'd like to have it so that we can actually jump on something that day. If we see something on Twitter, if we see something in the world that's worth talking about through SuperDoge, being able to put all these together at this point, now that they're done, it'll be a lot easier and smoother just to continue pumping out that content going forward.
Yeah, it's a totally different approach than our original concept where we're using animation, hand-drawn animations and teams of animators and to produce content. It created a very difficult and stressful environment to try to be able to produce something on a consistent basis. And what we're doing now is taking a totally different approach where we build the 3D assets and then they're built. It's simply a matter of recording and positioning cameras within this 3D environment, and then taking video editing tools to spice up transitions, as well as implanting videos and images. So once it's a much more sustainable way for us to be able to produce content that is relevant to what's actually taking place.
The other end of it with the segments, just to kind of go through a few segments. So just as a recap for everybody, we'll have one's Daily Doge, which will be basically news. Think of Anchorman in a sense, with new trending topics and whatnot. And then we'll have stand-up comedian segments. We'll have game show segments as well. So this will allow us to have interactive engagements with the community and outside people. Once we go, there'll be prizes with NFTs. We'll be able to really engage with the community. But with this whole show, a lot of these segments actually will turn into something that we're able to engage the community and bring them into it a lot more. But the first step is to just get the show out there, get the segments out there so that we can then go forward with the full-on engagement. With the game show, we're not going to be able to do it completely community engaged right off the bat because we probably don't have 3 or 4 people as hosts or anything like that. But once we do an episode or two, people will understand it. They'll be able to figure it out and then kind of apply to join in as one of those online or those community engagement people.
Right. It gives us an opportunity as well to collaborate with other projects. So let's say there was another NFT project that wanted to run a prize on our game show segment, for example, right? So we'd be able to have them come on board and engage their community with our community, and it's a great way to, be able to utilize what we're doing now as partially a promotional and partnership opportunity. So did anyone have any questions? I know the markets have not been exciting. There hasn't been a lot of volume with SuperDoge. The coin is kind of in a bit of a hibernation mode at the moment, with just friends and family and diamond hands kind of hanging tough while we transition. If you guys have any concerns, please let me know. I'd love to address any questions you might have.
So I kind of have a couple of questions, but just to start, like, are we going to begin with, you had mentioned like a pilot, like, are we starting with a pilot or are we going to be just going right into this?
Right. So for the pilot, what I kind of mean is a rough draft, right? It's not as if we're going to create the very first recording and it be something that we want to necessarily push forward as our first episode. But the first step is getting that first draft in, just so that we I can see, okay, this works, this doesn't work. Here's adjustments we have to make. But the first actual release to the public will be a fully polished show, right?
Okay. And the other thing I was thinking, and obviously, whatever amount of time is needed to make this perfect, so we could get the greatest impact and whatnot is what's required, but like I think a lot of people, well, me, that's why I'm asking, but really just want to know if there's like any kind of guesstimate in terms of a time frame where we'll start to see specific goals met, because right now we've been sort of just not really sure when things are going to happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'll give you kind of just a rundown with some of the delays, guys. So like when we went through this, we could have just done some crappy 2D pictures that we or grabbed off Google to do as backgrounds. And we could have just done some quick humor and stuff, but we really wanted to go into this and look at the long term. So with the environments, it did take a lot longer. We went with Unreal Engine, which is used to make the epic video games. And we didn't just create sets or environments, we created game levels. So literally, we can turn it into a video game and play with SuperDoge around there down the road if we want. We're able to manipulate and change the environments as we need. We're able to have 100 shots in one environment instead of just one background if we want to get to that point. So that was something that took quite a while for us to kind of get those backgrounds. Same with the avatar. The avatar has been great. We've had probably about, I'd say, 30 copies or 30 edits done even over the last 3 months, just to make sure that every little thing that we see is perfect. We didn't want to be like, okay, this is okay, let's go forward. We really wanted to fine tune that. And I'll give Dan a lot of credit. He has an amazing eye for this kind of stuff. So there has been a lot of, I guess, time for that, but we knew once we did it, it's done. And going forward, we don't have a lot of that walking through the mud kind of stuff. Everything is to the point where we're happy with it. So now with the recording, the scripts are done. We probably have enough. If we just recorded use the scripts that we have at this point, we probably have at least 10, 15 episodes. If we do this the way we are. And this is just the starting point. So the writing will continue on based on these segments, based on the feedback, once the first ones are out and stuff like that. If someone doesn't like, or if the majority of the people don't like one of the segments, and we get that as feedback, well, we're okay, because we have backups upon backups to replace that carousel. And to go a different direction. And then down the road as well, these segments might even turn into longer shows or kind of spin-offs as they go on their own as well. So now going forward, there's a lot of movement. I don't think it's just editing basically and putting it together. For the editing and for the sound and the audio lip sync and all that stuff, that's all figured out. So I know we've been kind of saying, hey, we're just waiting. We want to make sure this goes through properly. But we have been making really big process. It just doesn't look like it from the outside when you don't see, just as an example, between me and Dan, we have 1,280 pictures, just media pictures, not comments, not messages back and forth within the last month and a half. And that's just one of the chats that we're in with the group of people that are helping with this. So it has been a really finicky thing to make sure that we get what we want. Now that we're there, I honestly, founder, what do you think? I don't think it's going to take that long to do the actual editing parts of it.
No, this is we actually have quite a bit of expertise with editing videos to create promotional content and to create all sorts of things, from music videos to YouTube top 10 lists. We've got a lot of experience in that. So the challenge was building these environments, like you said, Keith, in Unity. This was something we'd never done before. But it is, like I mentioned, a better solution, because now we have reusable sets, we have reusable characters. And now it gets down to simply editing the pieces together once we've got a solid recording with good audio, which we've bought computers and microphones and headsets for all of our voice actors, as well as hand control kits so that they can actually control the hands of the 3D characters, so that we can get proper gestures. And so all of the more difficult part has been completed. Now it's simply putting things together, which doesn't really take that long. We've got a great video editor chomping at the bit to get started. So we'll start a recording today. And
the other nice thing about the environments is this. For Unreal, there's actually a bodysuit. We're not there yet, but there's actually, like, it's a new technology. So in the future, now that we have these environments and avatars built the way we did, they're not able to be used anywhere. This is specifically made for this project. But the thing is we're gonna actually, once we get going, be able to look at things like the full bodysuit and really get into the hand tracking and the quality of it down the road if this is a hit. And that'll just allow us to go into basically a 3D animation thing, which again is going away from our let's get on it quick and stuff like that. But it does open that door for us to be able to make like a 3D show or 3D movie animation rather than just the animes and stuff as well. So our doors are open
for 3D metaverse applications as well, right? Like we could potentially host the show in a 3D environment, in a metaverse environment. There's a lot of interesting components that tie in. Sorry, Keith, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, I have a question. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi. I have a question about the influences that you guys used previously, YouTube influences. You still planning to use them, or the ties are cut and you're going to use someone else?
So for Pro the Doge, we're actually, SuperDoge is actually into the documentary, and it's called the Meme Economy. I think they actually might have changed the name last minute here. But this documentary crew, I think it's Optimus. I'll have to relook at the name, but they're sister projects with Vitalik from Ethereum. They're connected with HBO and Netflix, and we have the SuperDoge marketing clip into that actual documentary now, which should be released in June or July. I'm waiting for word back from them to do some cross promotion and really pump that out. And what that documentary does is it follows GameStop and the meme economy up until about last month. And it's focused around Pro the Doge. So Pro is still part of it. Right now, though, with the influencers, we really wanted to focus on promoting just SuperDoge and the SuperDoge project. So for the segments that we have and that we're starting with, they're not going to have Pro or Wendy in there. But it doesn't mean, like, I have the Pro avatar built. We've been talking to Pro about doing that, but we're just going to start out really strong with SuperDoge because he is the main guy. He is the main push that we're trying to push, is our crypto project. And we figured that might be the best direction. And as we go forward, we might even bring in Wendy as Wendy. We might look at that down the road, but right now we just wanted a strong show to focus specifically on SuperDoge itself.
So the question, quick question to follow up. The initial episode, whatever the draft or whatever you call it, will be just basically low key without any promotion, or you're just gonna collect feedback, right? And then is that right? Or when are you planning?
When I talk about a pilot episode, what I'm really talking about is putting our first recorded content to, recording our first piece of content and adding some editing effects, logo intros, all of this stuff to basically create a rough draft, right? It's not really a pilot. It's more of, here's our first recording session. And from there, we will take that and then and polish it until we arrive at a finished product, essentially.
And the thing is, too, we can look at these segments multiple ways. So originally, we're looking at including 4 to 5 segments per show. So we're looking at about a 10 to 15-minute show. But after speaking about the different segments and how they can kind of expand into their own, it might be something like the first episode might include a few more segments than usual. And then we might once a week just start dropping 1 or 2 of the segments individually as they tie together as parts of the show. We're still trying to figure that out, but the reason being is that'll give us a lot more content long ways, especially with this market. That's kind of where that decision came from, is with the market the way it is, this is a great time for us to build this content, get it out there, get our name back up and the awareness back out there. And as the market corrects, we should have quite a few episodes out. We should have a very, very smooth and good show going out weekly at that point.
So the segments are, you said, about 15 minutes long, 10, 15 minutes long?
The segments are anywhere
show.
from the entire show. The segments run anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, some a little bit longer, from the game show to the news to the stand-up to the Maury's Emporium. I know you guys haven't seen a lot of these, so maybe what I'll try to do is throw a couple screenshots of the backgrounds or the environments of a few of the segments in here after the AMA, just so you guys can kind of get a feel. And each of those segments, it'll be, think of like Saturday. I don't know how to explain it, but if you think about Saturday Night Live, even, you have each different segment. It's all part of the same show, but they don't necessarily have to all connect. So it's really made for the ADD kind of brain that most of us probably have in this crypto universe.
That's what
it's
I
not
was thinking.
something. Like we want to be outrageous. We want to be kind of pushing the boundaries that no one else has. And I do think, honestly, one of our writers, Jim, is doing the voice for SuperDoge. He's doing the voiceover acting, and this guy's great. It's a different kind of funny, and it's something that will catch people's attention because it hasn't been done. It's still classy in a sense, but it's pushing boundaries, and it might offend some people. But at the same time, that's okay. We're doing it for a good cause, and it's going to be funny for the other people it doesn't offend.
Great. Yeah, can I ask this question? The content creating, for like, what are the plans, or is it just one writer or comic, or like, or you're searching for different, people with different personalities to create, future shows, future episodes? Because like Saturday Night Live, you mentioned, out of whatever 10 segments, maybe 2 are funny and the others are, not. But you need at least 1 or 2 funny. So my question is, again, I'd like to understand, like, how do you approach this search for content creators, or you just use one?
I interviewed about 35 people, including late night show hosts from the past. We talked to Harlan Williams, like the actor from Half Baked, and producer. He's pretty awesome. But we had a really big, probably month of going through people, and we found Antoinette and Jim, and they're 2 of the most amazing people I've ever met, just as humans. But they work really well together, and they've been doing the majority of the writing. We were going to look at some more off the start, but when you're looking at writing a new show in comedy, it's hard to go 15 different directions right off the bat. So with Jim and Antoinette writing and doing this with the first stuff, it'll give us a really good feel of the show. It'll give us a good direction, and going forward, I don't think we'll have a problem. But once we have some awareness and some more money in the market, the goal was down the road was also to add more and more writers or content creators or comedians, even including stand-up. Like, we'd love to have a different stand-up from outside of the group every couple weeks to come up and do a stand-up, an open mic type thing. So there's a lot of going forward. We want to look at a lot of that, but really to start this show strongly, we didn't want to have it too kind of disconnected with 10 different people trying to write the same thing. And I feel the direction we went with Antoinette and Jim really did do us justice. And like when I first asked them to do some segments and stuff, like, this was kind of a learning process for everybody and trying to figure it out. But what was nice is, hey, this is what we're looking for. Within a week, they had five episodes written, and they don't have that feeling where they love criticism, is what I guess I'm saying. They're not looking for the pat on the back. They're just as kind of anal looking towards getting the proper comedy and the proper thing done as us. So there's no hard feelings when we say, no, this doesn't work, or this works, or this doesn't. And going forward, it'll be the same thing. So that's again why the carousels happen too, because the group of us that have been kind of going through the scripts and going through that, we have a screening room of people, and we've kind of had all our ideas put in and stuff. But as we go forward with the segments, we will be really looking at the feedback from the community and outside of that too, to edit and alter it to make sure that we have that show that we're looking for.
That's great, because stand-up really dying in real life because of the political correctness and all that crap. So I think it's going to be a hit if you really, are able to bring it up like funny, short, or whatever. But thanks for the info, guys.
Not a problem.
Sure, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things real quick, just to kind of add to what your questions were earlier. Now, influencer marketing has changed quite a bit since a year ago. It was quite an effective way to promote products, but due to all of kind of the scams that took place over the last year, a lot of the influencer marketing doesn't work like you expect it to. The pricing was outrageous, and the impact and result that you got was quite minimal unless you were able to saturate kind of the entire marketplace. So we will be taking a different approach. I have been working with higher level marketers on other projects that I act as an advisor for. So we do have access to new strategies, and we also see a couple of there's a couple of projects that are preparing for launch. So we're going to be able to have some really deep insight onto what is working well for them, and some of the services and contacts that they make as well are things that we'll be able to tap into. So
one of the nice things I think, guys, is that when you look back at SuperDoge over the year, we've donated the 500,000. When you look at a lot of these other charity projects, they're bragging about 20-30 grand. We've done something pretty amazing. We're still here, and if you look back, we don't have that mark on us, basically, where we looked like we were trying to just be the hype guys, like we were just trying to hire some TikTok influencer and throw some shit out there. We are clean from that. So going forward with the new show, well, most people are probably shutting down because of the market, or scared, or not putting time or money in. This is a great time for us. We're going to be able to kind of be above the rest of the market if we're able to continue to go forward the way we are. And I know it's been a long haul. I understand, trust me, like I'm in the same boat as every single other person, and I wish I could answer everybody's questions in the chat and stuff and make everybody feel great, but I really have a lot of faith in this community. Everybody has their own reasons and stuff, but this, out of any of my projects, when I looked at my marketing, my market charts bleed for my portfolio, SuperDoge was actually probably the strongest out of all of them. And that's due to this community. And I know it's been quiet. I know we're all waiting, but with the market the way it is, with what we're coming out with, we just got to hold on, and we will make it. This isn't something this is a positive thing in my mind at this point. I've been through this market stuff a couple times, and as the founder has, as I'm sure a few other people here. So it's a lot less stressful, I guess, in my mind, for me, because I know how this goes, and it's just part of it. And all I know is we keep going, and we're still here. We're still donating money. We're still building, and we're not in a bad spot. We don't have anybody that we kind of tarnished our past with influencing with the way we went. It hasn't been as fast or as powerful as we hoped, obviously, but that's part of it, and we're moving forward. That's all we can do.
Yeah,
Thanks, Steve. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
I got a last question actually for the founder. You mentioned you that you're gonna introduce new tokenomics, and my question is, if I'm planning to buy more SuperDoge tokens, for example, after I hear all this, would you recommend maybe wait? When are you trying to implement new tokenomics, and if it's okay to buy now and not think about it at all?
Sure. So We will require a revamp on tokenomics that might include a token swap. It's not something that will happen in the immediate future here, but it is something that we'll be looking at long term, as it'll probably be necessary. I'm not sure that Binance Smart Chain is the right chain for us to be operating on, to be completely fair. There are better layer one solutions coming out. There will also be we will not be building my larger project on Binance Smart Chain. So there may be a demand to have it swapped over to another chain. The time to buy is not something I can really comment on or recommend. What I will say is that regardless of kind of the swap process that takes place, it will be fair and one-to-one. There won't be any sort of dilution that takes place on existing holders. What we would likely be looking to do is create a pool of tokens set aside for rewards, for example. Yeah, I don't really want to get too deep into the potential tokenomic changes at the moment, but the way that we launched our tokenomics, and this is kind of funny. We saw a lot of Doge related coins popping off last year, a lot of charity related coins popping off, and they were all kind of doing forks of Safe Moon, right? And that's exactly what we did. We're a Safe Moon fork, right? And the reality is that those are quite weak tokenomics, to be fair. After going through the process that we've just gone through, it requires a proper engineering team that is going to be able to chart out your utility value over time, your sustainability, your staking and your burn rates, and to properly create a sustainable ecosystem is what is required. So radical changes will be needed. Whatever time you buy, doesn't matter. It'll be a fair transition, no dilution to any existing members. It'll just be to a more active and aggressive ecosystem.
Thank you.
You bet.
I just shot a couple environments there down in the chat. So we have a part of the hosting section, the Daily Doge and the stand-up comedy sets. These aren't the 360 sets. These are just from these views or whatnot. But it gives you kind of a nicer feel and a little bit of a feel of the avatar in action as well.
So yeah, did anyone else have any other questions? Otherwise, I think we've kind of revealed a lot of information that'll take a bit to potentially digest. We got a lot of work ahead of us. What we're seeing right now in the market is a big flush taking place where 90% of the projects that were created in the last year, you will never hear from again. They are done. They're dead. They will never. They might pump if the market goes crazy again, like a death pump, and maybe some of them reignite, but the majority of them will be gone, and you'll never see them again. We're not one of those projects. We're still here. We're still putting money in. We're still donating to charity. We still got a full team of people working on the project. So we do appreciate your patience, your support, your diamond hands. Our objective is to make this a success for not only us, but for you guys and everyone involved as well. So we're just going to continue to push. Even if the markets are down, this is a great time to build. So.
Sorry, no, I know you're just trying to, wrap this up. Just in general, though, is there any kind of just like guesstimate, like not necessarily for when things will be like ready, but like in terms of like when we'll have the next update, even just because there's people I want to share things with who are listening to this, and they're just going to be asking me when.
Sure. No, that's fair.
For that intro, like that one little community clip we were working on, kind of thing with SuperDoge just saying hello. Is that something you think that's cool to share if we get that out there? I gotta redo something with the avatar founder, but I'm just wondering if
sure, we can start to share some teasers with the community. I think they deserve it. I think it would help people kind of see what we've put together. Keep in mind that these scenes that you're seeing Keith post, these are 3D environments that are created with a game engine, right? So it's not just a picture in the background. It's an actual game level, like he said.
Yeah, and these little clips aren't going to be with editing or anything like that, but I'll try to do one here real quick and send it out for you guys so you can get the feel of the voice and stuff too.
Sure, and then perhaps let's set up a bi-weekly AMA then. Every 2 weeks, let's do an AMA and keep up to date. I apologize that I haven't been checking in that often over the last couple of months. I knew we were kind of stuck in a build phase, and we had a lot of work and transition to do due to market conditions with our other projects. So yeah, let's plan to meet up again in 2 weeks.
Sounds good.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
Awesome, you guys. It was great sitting down and chatting with you guys again, and looking forward to the next one.